Well, good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Yeah! How comes he's got that side parting and smoking jacket 1-2 punch combo that I adore? You're probably asking yourself, well, is he covering something by a flock of seagulls or Peter Wyngarde's solo record? No, I'm not. Today, I'm talking about legacies and evolution. And I know it sounds heavy. In some ways, of course, it is heavy. But today I'm asking whether it's possible to recreate a sound when the person who was key to its design is no longer around. Theme tune. Here we go. Justin Hawkins rides again. All right. No. Doesn't matter. I'll probably have to give that a tune because I reckon there'll be some fairly complex things to look at in a second. But next month, Cardiacs are releasing their long-awaited final album, LSD. It comes 26 years after their last, which was called Guns, and 5 years after the death of founder and frontman Tim Smith. Tim had started the project, but in 2008, a heart attack and a stroke left him seriously ill, and the band went on an indefinite hiatus, leaving the work unfinished. But now Cardiacs have released Woodeneye ahead of LSD's arrival in September. If you've watched this channel before, you will probably know that I'm a huge Cardiacs fan. I think one of my early episodes was actually Cardiacs Are Ace or something like that. There's one record that I particularly like, A Little Man and a House and the Whole World Window, which I think is a really staggering record. It has these kind of mnemonic themes that recur throughout, so it's kind of like a concept album. It's got "That's the way we all go." It's something that sort of reappears in various different songs across that record. Tim Smith, though, was the genius behind tracks like "Is This the Life?" Yeah, so "Is This the Life" is probably as weird and long and as accessible as it seems. It's the most gothy kind of moment on that record, but there's still a bit in the middle where it just goes, and it has that weird stuff, cardiacisms, if you like, that makes it extra especial in my view and sets it apart from anything else that bands like The Mission, which I also loved, by the way, Fields of a Nephilim and stuff like that, stuff that was genuinely gothy to the point where they're wearing, old leather outfits with dust or flour on them to make it seem like they've crept out of a desert or something like that, but it was as gothy as that, but with some really weird cardiacisms in the middle of it. I'm sweating. This is too hot. Anyway, Tim Smith was unable to complete Woodeneye, but he did talk about it when it was still untitled during a radio interview back in 2008, and he even played like a little sample of it, so let's have a little look at that quick.
I don't know if you're better here, but I can play you a couple of tiny little bits. I haven't got any singing on or anything like that.
Even over the phone, that's really exciting, isn't it?
And that one goes on for quite a while.
I love that. That one goes on for quite a while.
This is just to prove to the kids with the Z, the kids spelt with a Z, that something is coming at some point.
That's awesome, isn't it? I love that. Anyway, those early compositions have now been developed by Tim's brother Jim, who I think was the bass player, wasn't he? And drummer Bob Leith, guitarist Kavus Turabi, Rose Kemp, Nick Hawaiians, with Mike Venard on lead vocals. Speaking about the process, Jim Smith said some of it is old archive stuff when Tim had done some roughs in his studio. all the time he was ill, I think he had it in his head that he was going to finish it when he got home. Unfortunately, he never made it. So I guess we owed it to him, really. It's been a labour of love. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, how do you guys feel about this? Immediately, I'm kind of like, okay, well, if Tim Smith's not singing it, but he's playing guitar, he's composed it. I mean, I suppose it's the Cardiacs, Jim, but not as we know it. Let's check it out. I really enjoy those gaps in it. It's Cardiacs E, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's Cardiacs, but it's Cardiacs E in the sense that it's kind of got. I like the space. Okay, so fucking hell, great chorus. Really complex, loads going on. It's sort of mesmerizing, isn't it? I sort of sit there and I'm sucked in. I think this is actually really great. I think this is like a really kind of in-your-face, rocked-up version of Cardiac's thing. Because I was kind of expecting like that section goes. I thought there'd be saxes and all sorts of things coming in there. But I mean, I suppose defying expectation is the whole point of a Cardiac's arrangement anyway. But I'm always kind of like looking for that tease and release thing, which some of the Cardiac stuff does deliver on, you know. If you listen to things on Land and in the Sea, stuff like was it Arnold? The one, and there is some stuff that's super simple and does exactly what you hope it's going to do and really satisfies. And then there's some stuff that just sort of blows your mind because it's so complex and what's the word? Awesome. Yeah, that's the word. There's not enough key changes in there. Or are there? My God, that's awesome. It's so authentic to the Cardiac's listening experience. Even Son's Tim Smith, I mean, he is one of my favourites of all time, and this is a really fitting tribute to his life and work, I suppose. But that was fun to listen to. I think that, you know, a lot of the time I listen to stuff on here and it's pretty obvious that I'm bored by it, and I'll never listen to it again. But this is not one of those occasions. I think this is going to reignite my passion for all things Cardiac. It's a really great song. Great effort. The drums sound way more modern than I was expecting them to. There's something in those sort of 80s recordings where the drums are sort of they have that kind of, they're not as round and roomy as they are on this recording. So this is definitely, you know, Cardiac's done 2025 sounds wise anyway. But yeah, loved it. Great stuff. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Everything about the Cardiacs was weird in the olden days. You know, they used to have this thing called the Alphabet Business Concern, which is like a shadowy organisation that acted as their kind of management, label, merchandise company, all of that, you know, license holding, touring company. It was just like this weird kind of, I don't know, there was something sort of Tim Burton-y about it, you know what I mean? There was creepy crawly stuff happening under the veneer, and they kept showing us that, and it was really dark and unsettling and fun and difficult to understand, but it was super engaging, and for when I was 14, I was just like, this is the band for me, because it's like nobody else. It's not designed for everybody to like, you know. It's designed for me to really sort of get my teeth into, and because, you know, the thing about being an outsider, or whatever you want to call it, or, you know, just like somebody who felt like a misunderstood teenager who understood music in a different way or whatever, you know. You need bands like in those days we were lucky because we had bands like Cardiacs, and like even it used to piss people off that I listened to Dred Zeppelin instead of Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of like, this is exactly the kind of thing that I needed when I was a teenager, and I'm really glad that they're doing this, because maybe there'll be some young folk who are coming up and feeling disillusioned with the music scene that will hear this and actually think, oh my God, so you can do interesting stuff with music and leave people baffled and impressed in equal measure, and do it with weird sort of clothes and strange makeup on, or what I really hope is that, like, people who are kind of like just getting into rock and progressive stuff just go back and listen to A Little Man and a House in the Whole World Window and On Land and in the Sea. Is that what it's called? On Land and in the Sea. Yeah, On Land and in the Sea. The two records that changed my life in the 80s, and this does have a lot of that in its spirit. It's really great. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these two videos, and let me know what you think of this new Cardiac stuff. Nice one, guys. See you later on. All right. Okay.